Oh yeah, morning. Just I'll try and make this quick, but actually it shouldn't really be, because I wanted to highlight the case about a nurse who in 2001, 2002, Anne Grigg-Booth was accused, like Lucy, of killing patients by West Yorkshire Police at the Airedale NhS Hospital Trust. And I've got a little friend with me today. I've been dog sitting, just keeping an eye on her. There you are. That's little Honey, and yeah, and she was the East Yorkshire Police decided to accuse her, and she's now, well, she's dead now. I mean, she was, I mentioned this in an article I wrote called Foul Play and Foul Water, a while back, a couple of years back, on my Substack, but, yeah, and so she was, basically, she ended up, well, oh, come on, honey. Hang on, got a couple of dogs in the Hi, right, morning. Honey. Yeah, she ended up killing herself. And so there was an inquiry done by, of all people, Lady Thirlwell, which showed that it's very unlikely that this nurse had anything to do. It was 3 elderly people that she was accused of killing, giving through syringe drivers. There was a particular type of syringe drivers they had a problem with. Begins with G, I forgot the name of it. Anyway, and there were 3 elderly people. One of them was in for a hip replacement, and so what the motive would have been, God knows, how ridiculous. And 2 other elderly patients. It was morphine and other stuff, she's accused of killing, and also attempted murder of a 42-year-old. Don't know what the motive was, it's ridiculous. And 12 others that she's supposed to have poisoned. No evidence, by the way, that she did any of this. And the inquiry showed that basically that it was very unlikely that she actually, had done anything, other than do her job. She was known to be a hard-working nurse. This is Anne Grigg-Booth. I think she had 3 kids. Hard-working nurse. She was known to be, I think, quite forthright and outspoken, forthright, outspoken woman. Where have we heard that before with scapegoats, This applies to me. This is how I know that the women like that get, if you're a woman who says things, sticks up for yourself, you get in trouble, put it that way. Anyway, so yeah, she 2010 was the inquiry. These murders in 2010. I've looked at the management. None of the management were even questioned. The manager, her direct manager, wasn't even questioned by the police. Wasn't even questioned. They've got a woman up for murder. Where are the doctors, by the way? Where are the doctors? Management weren't questioned. I've tried to find out. I've looked for the original report. Anyway, she ended up killing herself, Anne Griggs-Booth, because she took an overdose, and the inquest into her death said that it was accidental death. Well, her son says it was suicide, and listen, why would she? Had no history of taking overdoses or being an addict or anything. It was only since she'd been accused of this, ridiculously accused of these murders. It seems like there was a policy at that trust that they were doing this, and what she was doing, it was all marked down. She didn't try and hide anything. It was all in the notes, the amounts that she was giving these patients and the other, other nurses. This was normal at that trust. The management knew damn well about it, but it was all claimed that it was all this nurse's fault, as if nobody knew that the amounts that were given, because she was a night nurse, and she was just doing what she had been told to do, in terms of amounts. She's not a doctor. I mean, I know there are prescribing nurses, but ultimately the management were responsible for this, and they just didn't even get questioned. As far as I'm concerned, they're responsible for her death. They drove her to her death. There was no inquest, by the way, into the deaths of these elderly people that she's supposed to have killed. The excuse being that they were cremated. Well, if there was suspicion over their death, why were they cremated before if they needed to do post-mortem tests? Lady Thirlwell, by the way, in 2010 held an inquiry. And she, Lady Thirlwall, was the chair of this inquiry into the Airedale. It was Airedale NhS Hospital Trust where these supposed murders happened, which weren't murders. The inquiry found, of course, that, you know, no evidence that Anne Grigg-Booth did anything other than her job, and she was a good nurse. So Thirlwall knows that. She knows that in that case that there was this nurse accused. A similar sort of situation to Lucy Letby. The only difference is we're talking about babies instead of elderly people. And yet Thirlwall decided in the Lucy Letby case that those of us who were challenging this were, you know, the words she used I can't remember to describe us, but and yet she herself has chaired inquiries where these nurses have been wrongly accused before, right? And found that they were wrongly accused, you know, that there was nothing to say that. So what is she doing? Like now, why doesn't she quit? And I mean, I know it's a difference in terms of Lucy Letby had already been convicted, but she should know, being a judge, that there are not all convictions are safe, and that unsafe convictions do happen, and that miscarriages of justice happen. So dissing us for challenging it, especially when there was no appeal, for Lucy hasn't had an appeal. She was denied permission to appeal. So anyway, I think we should remember Anne Griggs-Booth. Come on, honey, because we're going to the churchyard now. Say hello, look, honey. Yeah. I I did write about this a couple of years ago in one of my articles, Play in Foul Water. I just mentioned it about Thirlwall being involved in this. And I did look on the Thirlwall inquiry for Lucy case. There's those deaths. There's a link to a document which she's put links to other sort of similar inquiries which might have a bearing. And one of them was this Airedale Hospital inquiry, which I think it was Humber and West Yorkshire board or something Anyway, I've looked up these documents. Everything seems to have been whitewashed. It's very hard to find stuff about this, other than the odd newspaper report, right, on it there is, but in terms of a BBC sort of not very accurate reporting. But you've got like this actual public inquiry. The link that she's put only gives you the first page. It doesn't give you anything. So that is not available. Now, if she did the inquiry, she should be able, even if it wasn't online at that time, because we are talking about 2001, 2002, Thirlwall has listed this as being there. So she chaired the bloody inquiry. She should be able to upload that if it's not up there, but she hasn't. All you get is one page. So if anyone can find that inquiry into Airedale Hospital NHS Trust, I think it will come under East Humber and Yorkshire, East Yorkshire, Humber side or whatever. Or if you look on the Thirlwall, I'll try and put links, but I'm out at the moment, so I can't put links underneath to what I found, but I can only go. And I was trying to find out, because one of the managers then resigned, I think in 2003 after this, or her direct manager, because it will have been the lower manager, you know, direct nursing manager, rather than top management that sort of had to resign. But that was it, really. Nothing got done. No one got held accountable. And as far as I'm concerned, Anne Griggs-Booth, I mean, look, you can't hold anyone accountable for someone else's suicide, unfortunately, and I don't think we should, because that's a slippery slope, and I've said this before, but they certainly should have been held accountable for the deaths of those elderly patients, because they were responsible, not the nurse. If too much medication, if too much morphine was being given, and that was policy, then that's the hospital's management responsibility. And there was also a Jerry, whatever you call it, the person that deals, the kind of doctor that deals with a specialist in elderly people's care, Jerry something like that, I forget the word, what that Jerry something doctor, who actually I think she resigned, or I forget her name now, but she certainly listed this as being like a scandal, and resigned in some kind of protest. I forget her name because I'm out. But other than that, I mean, where were the doctors responsible for these elderly people? Because they always seem to disappear, don't they? They never seem to take responsibility. I mean, I know Shipman was accused, but I mean, Shipman was an addict, and Shipman had a motive. He had a motive, a monetary motive, to need money for drugs. With Lucy, no motive whatsoever. With Anne Griggs-Booth, no motive whatsoever. She was a mother with 3 children. Her son says she committed suicide, even though it's called accidental death. It was definitely an overdose, and she was awaiting trial. So what's the likelihood? So this woman was basically driven to her death by West Yorkshire police, accusing her of doing this, and they still do it even after the inquiry said that she didn't do it. The Yorkshire police were still saying, "Oh, she must have done it." Blah 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 blah. You know, a bit like the Cheshire police. You know, they should join forces, get them together, Yorkshire and Cheshire, because they make a good team. You know, accusing innocent nurses and everybody. You know, and I mean, I think that nowadays, would anybody really want to become a nurse? Given that, you know, they're always the first line of accusation. Let's get the person. You know, anybody that management are never held accountable, so I don't know what we can't really, there's no accountability at all in the NHS at all. It's all just pushed down to the staff at the bottom. Incidentally, I think West Yorkshire police tried to accuse this poor woman of even more murders. You know how they do. I nearly wrote a song about Lady Thirlwell. I was tempted, you know. Might do. Hang on. How do I turn it round? I'm gonna crap at this, right? I can't turn it round. It must be that difficult. Let's try the turn round. No, I can't do it. Oh, hang on. No. We've gone this way, honey. Let's have a drink as well. Yeah, just correction. Although the case of the deaths of these elderly people were in 2002, I think it was 2001, 2002. The inquiry that Thirlwell did into it was in 2010. If anybody wants to try and find the publication of that and the results of that supposedly public inquiry done by Thirlwell document. As I say, I can only find the first page, but it was done in 2010. So it should have been uploaded onto the archive, government archives. I found the archives, but I can only find the first page. There is a link on the Thirlwell website that Thirlwell's put to similar sort of inquiries done in the past, and she's put a link. And but it takes you to just the first page. It'd be interesting to have that full report.